Good morning and happy Independence Day. It is July 4th, 2020, and I'm back here in Colorado. I just spent 10 days away from home, time with my family, just a little bit of change of scenery, getting on lake time for about a week, and it felt so good. And I'm back out for 8 miles with the possibility of some race pace miles, but we'll see how that feels. I don't know. It might not be happening today, because after 10 days at sea level, or 1,000 feet, coming back up to a mile high can be challenging. Well, let's get this run going, huh? Real quick update on what's happening with the house. We just arrived back in town yesterday at noon. So we have kind of just relaxed a little bit, unpacked. While we were gone, we needed to let the floor cure, so we couldn't put our furniture back in. So that's going to happen Monday and Tuesday. We're going to put the finishing touches on the floor remediation and refinishing, and we hopefully will get at least the inside of our home back to some semblance of normal. And it is at that point that I will be catching up on all the stuff I've missed on Disney Plus, including Hamilton. So I haven't seen it yet. I've heard it's amazing. I will watch it later on this week. Okay, so again, it's early, not even 6 o'clock. I got out at 5:30 this morning, and I don't expect to see a lot of people this morning. Celebrations began early yesterday with the holiday weekend, so I do expect to have the trails to myself for a while, which I'm excited about. It is a little warm this morning though. 66 degrees and kind of humid for Colorado, which is fine, but I tell you what, it was muggy in Wisconsin. There were some challenging mornings. Took a picture and I texted it to Jen, and I'm like, how do you do this? Because you couldn't see more than 500 feet. It was ridiculous. It was like, as Jen puts it, running through a cloud. Once I got to Wisconsin, I needed to just rest and sleep some more. I spent the first few days catching up on some work, getting a podcast out, getting some training plans done. But then that second week I did a lot of napping. I slept late. I skipped runs on purpose because I needed to. I needed the rest more than I needed the run, just to recover from all of the stress of the last month. So that's what I did. And I'm telling you, I don't know why, but sitting in a car for 2 days is exhausting, and I didn't even drive. So about Wisconsin, it was very interesting. It was the first time I'd ventured out of the state, let alone out of the city, since quarantine began, since March 13th. So, we're driving across Nebraska and Iowa into Illinois and then up into Wisconsin. Well, each state has their own restrictions and mandates and such. So it was interesting to travel across the heartland and see how different states were treating the same thing. Now, at the risk of causing controversy or escalating a discussion, Wisconsin completely opened up. They're using social distancing in their restaurants, in their bars, and a lot of things are open. Several things aren't. There were a couple of shops we wanted to go to. There was a whole collection of shops that just decided, no, we're going to stay closed till this thing is over. So Wisconsin has a little bit more freedom, if you will. They encourage mask wearing, which we did, inside shops. But within our little community, where my mom lives, it was kind of one big happy family. So it was interesting just to see how different states deal with the COVID crisis. So I think Colorado, and certainly Denver by far, is the most stringent of all of the places that we visited along the way. Not a bad thing, but if you imagine the population density of the city of Denver is much greater than all of Nebraska. So I was, however, on the trip out, because you can't get them here in Denver. Fresh baked goods are not a thing. They are prepackaged. I was able to get fresh baked donuts in Des Moines, Iowa, at a place called Hertz Donut. Oh, it was the most amazing Bismarck I'd had in ages, because I haven't had a fresh baked donut in several months. So shout out to the slackers. I almost kept one to use during my run, but I just couldn't wait. I had no self-control. So Hertz Donut, Des Moines, Iowa. One thing about my training while I was gone, like I said, I needed a lot more rest than I got. One thing that was supposed to happen, I get it, hang on. I was supposed to do my Love the Run You're With race number 3. I had originally planned to do the 10 mile for time, but once I got to Wisconsin, I knew that was not in the cards. Not just the for time part, but the 10 miles. It was so humid, so warm, and I didn't need to. I didn't need to do that 10 miles for anybody but myself, and I just didn't. It wasn't something that was bringing me joy at the time. So the longest run I did while I was gone was 5 miles. I had probably 8 runs, 7 or 8 runs while I was gone. I maybe did 5, which is still victory. I didn't do a lot of cross training, but I did do one yoga session and discovered I need to be doing more of that. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I'm doing for the month of July in a minute, but I let go of a lot of my training, and that has a lot to do with letting go of the Chicago Marathon. Chicago Marathon. I let that go weeks ago. Once training started, training was supposed to start on June 8th. And with all of the kitchen reconstruction, if you don't know what happened with that, check this video out right here. I decided life isn't boring enough to add marathon training into it. So no matter what happens, I will not be running Chicago Marathon this year, virtually or otherwise. So I'm still waiting on the Chicago Marathon organization to make their decision about whether or not this race is going to go off. It has not yet been canceled, deferred, whatever, while Boston, New York, and Berlin all have. So it's frustrating, but I will not be running Chicago Marathon. I've let that go, which is good. So right now, my next race on the calendar is Walt Disney World Half Marathon, a single race during marathon weekend in January. And if all goes well, I may race that for time for a variety of reasons. But I'm gonna get into my race pace mile because it starts off downhill. So, all right, I will check in with you in a few minutes. In January is the Walt Disney World Half Marathon. I am considering running that for time. If conditions are favorable and training goes well, I may shoot for time. Why would I shoot for time at a Disney race? Well, given COVID restrictions and all of the craziness that's been happening around the Disney races, if it even goes off, they're not going to have a lot of characters out. Any characters you have will be socially distanced. It's not going to feel quite the same. The field is going to be smaller by half. So with a smaller field, a flat course at sea level, I may have a good shot at maybe not PRing, but coming darn near close if conditions are in my favor. I don't know. I have to make that decision. I don't have to make that decision until basically the end of July when I switch plans over. Another thing I'm doing in July is a 30-day yoga challenge. I haven't been doing yoga, and I did my first day right before I left Wisconsin, and I missed it. I realized how important it is to add yoga as cross training. So I'm doing 30 days of yoga, and I'll leave a link to that playlist in the description. I gotta tell you, it's exactly what I need. I am spending more time on the yoga and the cross training and the strength training this month. Less focus on the running, while I still need the running as a mental sanity check. The rest of it is gonna slightly edge out in importance. All right, guys, I've got another mile to go in 15 seconds, so I'm gonna turn it and I'll check in with you in just a couple of minutes. Okay, second mile done, sub 10-minute mile. I'm happy. I'm very happy with that. I don't think that's the right angle. And visors make my hair look stupid. Okay. So, I had something brilliant I wanted to tell you guys. Oh yes! I remember now. So, another thing that happened while I was gone in Wisconsin, finally got off my proverbial butt and reached out to a travel agent to get myself bibs for Star Wars Rival Run, because there's been a lot of drama and tension and stress around not just registering for the Disney races because they are limited in field, but also for park reservation systems. Okay, so in case you don't know, if you want to go to a park during your visit, you have to have a reservation. You only get one reservation per day for one park per day. So a lot of things have changed for Walt Disney World, understandably so. So in the midst of all of this, I've been kind of putting blinders on when it comes to Star Wars Rival Run. So I wasn't doing it. And finally I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to freak out about this. So I reached out to Wendy Larson, Disney Hand Cyclist on Instagram. Link in the description. She came through. Wendy, I love you. You are amazing. I got 5K and the Rival Run Challenge. Now, as of right now, there isn't a virtual half that goes along with the Kessel Run. The Kessel Run is available, but it doesn't have the virtual half option. So I'm holding off on that one. Hi, bunny. All right, guys, as I close it out today, I want to thank you for your patience and your continued support of me and my journey, this channel, the podcast, all that great stuff. I am hoping I'm not jinxing myself here, that now that at least my home life is settling back out again, I can get some more consistent content to you in the month of July. I have some ideas already, but it was a nice change of scenery. It was nice to get away for a couple of weeks, but it's also nice to come back home. So getting back out here to my home trails, getting my running in, just feeling generally pretty good after some well-needed time off. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, tell your friends. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, go find your awesome. Remember, you have no limits. Happy running. Take care.